thank you for joining us and watching. We'll give it a little more time for people to show up in the streams. And let me just take a quick look at my notes to see what we wanted to talk about here at this point. All right, so welcome to the introducing mimoLive 4 stream. I should have chosen a different name here. Not tripping over the one all the time. Also, when I type it, I always try write introduction to mimoLive 4, but it's introducing mimoLive 4 because it's not introduction in the sense that we are starting with the basics. We are only showing you what's new in mimoLive 4. So Achim is gonna do the demos. I'm gonna do the talking around the demos, the marketing things. Tobias is doing the switching out in the editor booth. And a big thank you to all team members, all Boinx software team members, all the engineers, all the testers, all the administrative staff, everybody. Thank you very much for making this happen. This is a lot of hard work. You might have noticed that mimoLive 4 took a little longer to be completed because it's a lot of new code, a new UI code, and we're going to show you in a couple of minutes. If you guys in the stream have any comments or questions, we are trying to monitor the comments in Facebook or YouTube, and we'll try to answer them during the stream, but also at the end of the introduction, we'll have a Q&A session, and we'll go back to your questions and answer as many as possible.
We'll try.
All right, one last thing. We are also going to be at NAB this year. Maybe Tobias is showing the little advertisement here. We're going to be on booth South Lower Hall 5516. That's the NDI Pavilion. A couple of third-party developers showing off solutions around Nutek's NDI technology. We are one of those partners. We built NDI into mimoLive, and we're going to show you a little bit or talk about that a little bit later. And we're going to show other interesting NDI-related stuff at the booth at NAB. All right, so if you want to meet us there, drop by and say hi. We are looking forward to talking to as many as possible. All right, good. A little bit about mimoLive. mimoLive, as you know, is the successor to Boinx TV. We decided to rename it and relaunch it about 3 years ago. And we've done we've changed the business model to something that is hopefully a little more sustainable, with a model where you buy year-long, monthly, or 3-year licenses, and you get all the upgrades and free during that time. And this helps us to be able to innovate faster, and you can calculate your costs more precisely. We've been doing, this is the mimoLive 4 is the 21st release since April 2016, not counting all the beta releases. So we are really churning out the releases quite fast. This one took a little longer because it was a lot of work. I already mentioned that, I think, before. A lot of UI code has been changed and updated, and we're going to dive right in with a demo of the new features. Achim, take it over. The first new thing we're going to show you is we've added the ability to have multiple output destinations, which means you can stream to multiple destinations at the same time. You can do multiple audio mixes at the same time. So Achim is going to show you how this works.
So, yeah, usually you had your output destinations right on the right top edge of the document window. And now you see all the buttons are gone and we have a new output destination area below the program out. You can add, as my brother already mentioned, multiple output destinations by the plus button. We have several currently defined, like an audio or for the full screen playout. You can have multiple file recordings to record to different formats. Also live streaming is possible to different and multiple destinations, as well as play out to Blackmagic design hardware or NDI. And I guess we are talking about NDI a little bit more later on. And of course the virtual camera to provide the program out to the macOS system and to other applications.
All right. So one of the interesting things is that we now have the ability to do multiple audio mixes. For example, you can have one for the moderator or the operator in the room. We used to have just two mixes for the program out, which is sort of the sound that goes out with the signal into the stream or SDI or wherever.
The recording, yes.
And the recording. And we had one monitor mix, which you can use to monitor what's going out. And now we have the ability to have multiple auxiliary audio mixes. For example, we could have one in the studio if we had audience, they would want to hear the sound of movies we play, B-roll we play, or the MIMO calls, talking to someone over remote connection. The studio audience and the moderators will want to hear those people, but not themselves, because that would be a feedback loop.
Right.
So can you show us quickly maybe how to set up multiple audio feeds?
Sure. As you can see, you can add another audio aux output. Let me just add quickly another audio only layer to have multiple audio outs here. Usually everything is just like the program out, but I can solo or mute single layers here, like the audio out only, for example. I can mute it so I don't hear myself if I'm on that layer. Those are for each audio outputs independently, so you can even adjust the volume differently for each audio output.
All right. Good. So this is the multi-output destinations part. Maybe we should quickly also give a short demo of how you can now adjust the UI to your liking. So maybe you might want to give a demo of how to resize stuff on the screen.
Yeah. In mimoLive 3, the layout of the window was fixed by the columns, and now you can easily readjust it to the to whatever you like, even the layer stack or the program, the layer settings view you can readjust to have a closer look to all your settings.
That's very helpful because we have the direct manipulation in the preview of the layers, and then you have more space to actually use that.
Correct.
All right, good. Before we move on to the next feature, maybe we should look at if we have any questions we have to answer or we should answer in the streams. I'm trying to get my iPad to show me the comments.
Here.
Okay.
Ben has a question.
Is OSC MIDI control in the pipeline at all? I'm desperate to interface with something other than on-screen or keyboard. Well, of course, we've been focusing our efforts on the remote control surfaces, which is something you can put on an iPad. and we now have an infrastructure inside the application that allows us more to control the application from outside. But in order to implement something like USB, like a OSC or MIDI control, we would still have to do some work inside the application to enable communication between the controller and the application, and that's something that's going to take a little while longer. We still have it on our roadmap, but it's not going to be before NAB or in one of the next releases. I think the remote control is much more powerful than what we could do with any keyboards or with MIDI controls. But I understand that there are some people out there who like the physical, the tactile feedback of a real control. So we're looking into X keys and other solutions to support that. All right, do we have other questions?
Here. Here's another one by Karim.
Karim, is there any possibility to record a clean feed without overlays? So this is an interesting thing because actually you can use two mimoLive documents at the same time, and we could insert a siphon sender layer in the layer stack at the place where you consider your clean feed, and then feed that out into a secondary mimoLive document and record that. So that's one way. It's a workaround. It's not the perfect solution, but it's one way to do that. We hear the suggestion, and there's a lot of people who want clean feed recording, and we certainly have it on our radar, but we haven't started developing yet. All right, so any other questions we should insert here, or should we refer the rest after we complete our demo, I think, maybe?
Yep. Sure.
All right, so let's continue with the demo. Second new feature in mimoLive 4 is the multi-view. And multi-view is great because it allows you to have all your sources in the overview, and it can do some nice tricks. But first, let's start with showing you how the multi-view works. Achim?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see on the screen. On the right upper right corner, you have two new buttons. The left one is for enabling a multi-view inside the main document window, and it will appear between the layer setting and the program out. So let me just readjust this. And I already had set it up to a different style. So usually it comes with automatic layout, and it allows me to monitor multiple sources at the same time.
How do you assign the sources?
Actually, below each output, there's the name of the source, and I can click on it and select a different one, just like so. And I will see.
Now we have the program out twice. Maybe we should just select the camera.
Right, that's more like it. Here I
have. All right. So one interesting thing you can do with this is you can actually use you control a switcher from this. So if you have a switcher layer in your layer stack and you click on the source in the in the multi-view, it will control the switcher to switch to that source. So we have to set up the sources in the layers, and then you can just click on them to make them.
Need to switch it live. Sure.
Right. Okay.
So this is my. Let's just go with a different. That makes more sense. A little bit more space for it. So now I have my three sources at the bottom, and I easily, by clicking on it on screen, it will command the video switcher to switch to the certain source.
All right, cool. So the second button
is for another multi-view window, which is external from your main window. And so you can put it on a secondary screen, for example, make it a full screen. And this is
we have in the studio. And so if Tobias can switch to the edit screen, so you see the multi-view in all its glory. We have the traditional 8:2:2 and 2:4:4 layout here. There's a couple of layouts you can choose from that are preset, but also a very nice intelligent automatic setup, which just allows you to use all the available space in an intelligent way. Let's say that. All right. So that's the multi-view. Anything on the multi-view? Anything we've forgot to mention? No, that's it.
I think
it's very useful for you to be able to see all your sources, and it makes the working with mimoLive really, really much, much, much better. All right. So any more comments we can work on? And actually, that is plans for replay. Yes. Okay. So yeah, thank you for the question. I will come back to the question later, but I will quickly explain to you what you're actually seeing on the screen, because that's the next new feature. Facebook and YouTube comments. We have now a user interface for you to moderate and look at the Facebook comments. When you're sitting in front of the editor computer, you can open a small window, and I think we need to switch to the other camera, and then there you see the window. It gives you a list of all the comments, and if you click on the live, you should explain it. Sorry, I'm
You're welcome.
Right. Okay.
So actually you see all the comments coming in. And Tobias is just hitting one live button, and then it will appear in your program out, just like an ordinary lower third. And as long as it wants to stay there, then you just press it again, the live button, and it will disappear. So we have time to talk about that certain comment, and it doesn't go away automatically, or will be flushed by all the other comments. So that's
basically it.
That's
we should mention that we also have a layer that shows all the incoming comments. Like if you know mimoLive, we have the Twitter layer that shows all the incoming tweets. And just like that, we have also a layer that allows you to have all the comments scroll through your video.
Right.
All right. So
coming back to that question.
The question, can we set in that was not the question we wanted to talk about. Plans for replay. Actually, yes, we have replay in development. It's going to be part of something, a bigger package that we're going to release maybe after NAB sometime. And it's going to be about sports scoring, and we're not ready to show you yet, but it's going to be instant replay in a very nice, interesting way. So yes, that's coming, and soon. All right, good. Next question. I think we should cover the three questions Tobias, the three questions you already put on the screen. Just so that can we set in and out points in video files?
Currently, it's not possible, but certainly it's on our feature list.
On our feature list. Yeah. Any quick way to do it?
Not in mimoLive. You need to go to a third-party video editing.
Can we do it in the QuickTime movie player? Is that still possible? We used to be able to do that really quick in QuickTime Player 7.
QuickTime Player 7. Yeah, you can still download it, but
yeah, it's we see the point. We see the point, and it's gonna be it's very high on our list.
Yeah.
All right. The next, there was one more question I think you showed in the stream. Are we going to have a new audio mixer with buttons that are easier to play? What is the exact meaning of that question? I think I know what it means.
It means like an audio board, an audio mixing board. And
you may have noticed that we didn't change the way you mix the program out, and the way, and that's because we think, I mean, one of our engineers has big plans with audio, and as soon as we let him off the leash.
Hi, Benny.
Hi, Benny. I think you will see great things. That's also one of the things that's going to happen in one of the next versions. I can't tell you which one, but certainly we can, maybe at the end of the stream, we can give you a little out view on what's going to happen next. But yeah. All right. So Facebook and YouTube comments. Basically, you've now seen a little demo of how that works, and we are very excited about that. Right, so next, and we're moving on fast in our presentation here. Next is we made a change to how we can distribute add-on layers. We've decided now to put the add-on layers into mimoLive so that we can ship updated versions. And we can switch to Achim's computer again to show you how that looks like.
Okay. So we actually added the layers we sell as an optional.
The add-on layers.
The add-on layers here, and they are marked with the gray shadow here. So you just can add them as usual, but you won't able to see them in the live program out until you enable a demo mode with that checkbox here. But this will give you an overlay. So.
But you can try the new layers and you can see how they work for you. Correct. Before you buy in, right?
So here you are. You can just play with it just with any other layer and just switch it off. So and also see the result. And it's fully working. So you can easily check on them.
All right. So if you want to buy them, what do you do then? You click on
either here's the purchase online button.
Okay.
Or you can go via the layer templates and get more layers down below here.
Yeah, click on that. Yes, and we'll take you to a new page we've done. And that's the extra layers page. And there's the ones that you can buy. The lower third pack, the mimoLive ATM controller. And you can purchase the custom layer, which means that we create a layer for you according to your specifications. And if you scroll down, there's free layers, and the free layers are fully supported layers. We've got a QR code source now, which is quite interesting because you can just enter a URL or any text. It will encode it in a QR code, and people can actually use their phone cameras to take a picture of your live stream and it will take them someplace, some URL, or allows them to store an email address or something like that you want to communicate for them. That's a very interesting way of connecting with your viewers. And just take me back to the to this. Okay, the music track layer is something for radio stations. Allows you to pull pull artwork, artist and title information from a JSON file. So you can, for example, make a nice overlay of the currently played music on your radio station. The Halloween layer pack is fun stuff you can play with on Halloween, which is already passed. And then we have the experimental layers, and there's some new thing that is also very interesting. Twitter PTZ controller, which allows you to actually control your PTZ camera by tweeting. So you can define commands that mimoLive should listen to on Twitter, and that will and if people tweet those commands or hashtags, then the PTZ controller can move the camera to a preset or to a given preset position. All right, so that's the extra layers. We have a couple of minor changes also to mimoLive 4. For example, we have an auto switcher layer which allows you to cycle through the several sources automatically either after a given time or in a random sequence. We
Even
have
random order.
Random order. What else do we have? Something we didn't want to talk about too much. I forgot it.
Actually, there is a lot to explore, of course.
I got a list here. So the levels filter. Yeah, you didn't want me to show the levels filter, so we crossed it off the list. But the level filter is actually quite interesting because it allows you to have, if you have multiple cameras, you can quickly adjust the white balance, and you don't have to fiddle with the camera controls. You can do that in mimoLive, and so that helps you to make cameras that have different optics or different sensors to look alike. Yeah, that's a very good thing. All right, and exactly what else do we have? Drag and drop support, and a lot of other minor changes to layers with new settings, new default settings, and new default artwork. You can go to the download site and download mimoLive 4, and yes, there it is, mimo.live/download, and check out the release notes for the full list of changes. A lot of bug fixes, a lot of crashes we fixed, so that's going to be very exciting. All right, before we go back to the Q&A session, just a quick word about NDI. So we're going to be at NAB, I already mentioned that, booth SL5516, that's the NDI pavilion, and we're gonna have a lot of NDI sources to play around with, and you are gonna see how great mimoLive interacts with NDI, how easy it is to control your complete NDI workflow, but you'll also see how great mimoLive can be used as a graphics engine for NDI. It plays out key and fill to NDI, so you can hook it up to your other switcher and use mimoLive just a very powerful graphics generator. We're gonna demo that at NAB. The great thing about NDI, which is NewTek's network device interface, is that the cameras are all connected over Ethernet. So we can control PTZ cameras. We will be able, until NAB, we will be able to control PTZ cameras over the NDI protocol from mimoLive directly. We can, mimoLive also sends the tele light information back to the device, so you can see when the camera is in use. All these great things. And of course, you don't have hardware costs for video inputs, because basically all the video inputs come in through your network connection. And sometime, at one point the network bandwidth will go out, but you don't have to buy like new SDI grabbers, and you're not limited by the boxes that are available, and that's a great thing for both mimoLive and your video production. All right, come to our NAB booth to see all of that. And all right, so before we go to the Q&A, just a couple of basic information about mimoLive 4. It's going to be it's available now. You can download it. Its pricing is we have 4 tiers of pricing: education pricing for schools and teachers, private license for people who use mimoLive in a non-commercial way. That can be, for example, people who work at a church free of charge, so volunteers, and they spend their own money and they use their own machines, and then at their own time, and they're not paid for it, then it's okay to use the private license in such an environment. We have a commercial license for people who use mimoLive to make money or do live streaming to make money. And we have a broadcast license that's for broadcasting, for people who do broadcasting, reaching a whole big audience with a little extra support and stuff. And the price points are: the private and education pricing is $199 per year. We have also a monthly license available for people who prefer to pay monthly, and we have a 3-year and a 5-year and a 10-year license for people who want to spend a lot of money at the beginning and then use mimoLive for a long time. The commercial license is $699 per year, $699 US, and the broadcast license is $1,999 per year. So that's the basics covered. And now back to Q&A. We will try to answer as many questions as possible from the chat. And I want to bring up the chat here. Phil, will there be an option to bind multiple accounts to mimoLive? There is already. So you can set up multiple YouTube and Facebook accounts, and you can stream to the different accounts at the same time. All right, next question.
Should we demo that?
Maybe
no.
that is too.
Just
maybe we can. I mean, let's see. So, any other questions?
Could control. Look at that. Paolo asked, could comment on ATM controller, please? So not really.
Could comment on ATM controller, please. So what do we comment on the ATM controller? The ATM controller is still fully supported in mimoLive 4. It's an optional plugin you can purchase. I don't know what the price is right now. I think $99 US a year. If you want to enable the optional add-ons, you will purchase a license key, just the same as you purchase the license key for mimoLive, and then you can just install the license key and it will unlock the
certain layer in this case
add-on layer.
And but you can actually test it before buying, because we integrated it in mimoLive for the demo, in the demo case. Thank you. So actually the next question.
Soporte en español. Okay, so our sales salesperson, she lives in Tenerife, which is a Spanish island just off the coast of Africa, and she speaks quite well Spanish, so we will be able to sell you a license in Spanish. However, we will not be able to provide technical support in Spanish language. Technical support is only provided in English on our forum and through a toll-free number in the United States where you can call and ask questions, and through email, of course, but only in English language, and that's how it is right now. We can also, of course, provide it in German, because we all speak German, and but we can't provide it in any other language, unfortunately. Right, thank you. So, more questions. Interesting
Yeah, the
is
next
why.
one.
Next one.
By Ben.
What was the Swift layer? Are we now able to make Swift custom layers as well as Quartz ones? Swift layer? What did
No.
what is Ben? What are you referring to?
Maybe he's referring to the new language introduced by Apple, creating layers, custom layers with Swift language. Unfortunately, that's not possible currently. It's only by Quartz Composer.
What was the Swift layer? I'm not sure what Swift layer is referring to, but okay. So maybe if you want to clarify that, Ben, in the comments, we try to come back to that question. Interesting thing is that I don't seem to see new comments come in on YouTube, which is why, because
So Jason has a new question.
Music track layer.
How close are you to PTC Optics NDI control?
How close are we to PTC Optics NDI control? On Achim's computer, you can actually see it. so we are very close because Achim's computer is just outside.
So
no,
yeah,
we're gonna have it at NAB.
So actually, PTC Optics is demoing it. Maybe they are demoing it on their own.
Oh,
booth.
no, PTC Optics. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's okay? NDI. Okay, Jason. Sorry, I misunderstood your question. So NDI is a standard that is independent of the vendor. So once you upload the NDI firmware to your PTC Optics camera and enable NDI on the PTC Optics camera, it works just like any other NDI camera. And NDI, PTC support for NDI will be in the release that we are going to have at NAB to show there at least. Maybe it's a beta, but it's going to be a release. And you will be able to control the NDI PTC camera right from within the multi-view. So if you put a PTC NDI camera in the multi-view, you can just drag it around and zoom and pan directly on the screen, which is quite cool. Yes.
For the PTC Optics camera.
The PTC Optics camera, once you've NDI installed on that, it should be working. Yeah.
We didn't test it, but
I mean that's the whole idea of a standard protocol is that if PTC Optics implements the standard properly, then it works. And
right.
we assume they do. So yeah. Any more questions? SwiftConf in the layers adding section. Okay. So all right. So that was it was called SwiftConf in the layer adding section. All right, Ben. So that was a special layer we designed specially for the SwiftConf event. So it's a it's a custom layer that is named Swift because it was related to an event that had to do with Swift. So it doesn't have to do anything. It's not programmed in Swift. It doesn't have to do anything with the Swift language, except for that the event it was programmed for was Swift related. All right. Okay.
That's
good.
Cleared it.
I hope that clears it up. Does mimoLive 4 kill actualize? I think we don't see YouTube comments coming in over the interface. So I have to watch the YouTube chat manually, and I'm gonna do some after this one. We're gonna do some from the YouTube comments. Can we moderate the Facebook comment on another machine like Instagram-like system? Instagram. Oh well, I think. So yes, in actually preparing this show, we noticed that this would be a nice feature to have. So I would be able to see the comments here on my iPad and then be able to control all of that from the iPad, and I think it's a very good idea. I can't say when we're gonna ship it, but I'm sure we'll do that.
Currently, it's only possible from the machine that runs mimoLive.
Right. Okay, so let me look at some questions in the YouTube chat. Michael from Sonneding TV asked, does mimoLive 4 kill actual license? No. You can use your license key for mimoLive. If you have a mimoLive license key that's still valid, you can use it with mimoLive 4. No killing there. It is possible. I've seen that there's an error message that you have an outdated license key, but I think you can simply ignore that. Or was that just in one release and I remember that?
Yeah, we fixed that for the
4.0?
For the 4.0 major
Okay,
release.
so it shouldn't be in the 4.0 release. It was in one of the betas, I saw that, but it should be gone. Will this webcast stay up on YouTube for a while? We'll upload actually a clean version that we record here while we do the presentation. We'll upload that after the presentation, so you get a clean, nice recording. Can you look? I like mimoLive 4. Thank you for all. Thank you very much. That's nice to hear. Can Facebook and YouTube comments work at the same time? They should be working at the same time. However, there's one little caveat, and that's the Facebook terms of use, and that is you actually cannot use Facebook and stream to some other streaming service at the same time. So it would not be able to do that in practice. Theoretically, it's possible, but in practice, yes. All right, good. Will you add new layer transitions for school use? If King's Ridge, what CS stands for, I don't know, King's Ridge Lower School Tiger TV. If you let us know what layers you want, we can certainly add new layers. We are very interested in suggestions, what layers are useful to schools. Because we think mimoLive is a great solution for school TV, making school TV with your morning announcements with your kids. That's what actually, by the way, it's one of the core principles of our company is that we want to make software that's very powerful. So we have customers like Deutsche Welle, who is a broadcaster using mimoLive, but also easy enough to use so that we have 6th graders using mimoLive in their morning announcements. And I recently was in Texas at Manor School District, and they showed me just how great kids do. They do a school-wide live announcement every day, just a couple of minutes, the latest information for the students, and it's just great.
I have a little demo for that.
You have a little demo for that. Okay.
For example, maybe you missed it. We have a certain layer called subtitles. Tobias is showing it right now. You can simply add it from the layers templates, and the default setting for the layer subtitles is pledged flag. So once you play it, it will go along with Pledge
of Allegiance. Okay.
It's just
all right. Yeah, that's very important for American schools. Yes. All right. Any more questions? Let me see. Yes.
So maybe we can answer some questions from the Facebook side.
Yes, have we more comments on the Facebook thing? All right, Freddy is available now. Yes, download it from
Magic.
mimo.live/download.
Actually, we released it yesterday.
Yes, yesterday.
And so
it's available for download now. All right, more questions?
Do you read it?
Will the PTZ optics control include the ability to use the preset programmed with the camera remote? Yes, exactly.
If it's, but we have a certain PTZ optics control layer actually, which already can record the presets up to 8 positions, I guess, and I think with NDI and our new implementation, which we are going to show at the NAB, this should be also possible via the NDI connection.
All right. Yeah. So that's one thing we should probably mention is that we already support PTZ optics, PTZ cameras through a special layer called PTZ optics controller, and you can use that even if the camera doesn't have NDI enabled. So if you're using a PTZ optics PTZ camera that doesn't have NDI, you can still use mimoLive to control it. And actually also that's how the Twitter controller layer works, where you can tweet, if you tweet hashtag something at your mimoLive, it will point the camera at something special. We want to set up something here in Salzburg maybe, or somewhere else where we have a PTZ camera up on a tower and you can actually tweet like the sites you want to see, like the Eiffel Tower or something, and it will show and pan and zoom to the Eiffel Tower. All right, more questions?
Here, it's the next one. Paolo.
The problem reported at the beta versions with the video playing in high speed, is that solved? What video playing in high speed? Did you remember what that was?
Not really. I can't remember really.
You wanted to play video faster than it?
I think it means that the video played faster than it should have.
Okay.
Maybe that.
So during beta test, we had one guy here at the FS1 studio in Salzburg, where we are using mimoLive quite heavily, and he reported a lot of problems with playing video sources, and we fixed all of them. So maybe that one was within the...
We covered that maybe?
We can just, Paulo, please download the final version, try it again, and let us know if it's fixed or not. Because right now we don't really know what you're referring to. So what specific problem you're referring to, so please do that. More questions? The multiple output like Facebook and YouTube increase a lot of CPU usage. That is a good question. I like that, because last week I was here in the studio and you can search that on our YouTube channel. I did a test stream. How many live streams can I do with the iMac Pro that we have here in the studio? And I was doing 8 streams at the same time, and then the CPU got a little loaded, because right now I think we're not quite sure, but with 10.13, macOS 10.13, Apple seems to have fixed the issue with not being able to use multiple hardware encoders. Can you explain?
Before that, mimoLive was only able to require a certain, just one H.264 encoding stream by hardware, and all the others were done in software. So this causes a lot of CPU stress, and if you have multiple recordings or streamings at the same time. But with 10.13, we get a nicer price by Apple, so we can use multiple encoding streams at the same time. And so the encoding is not the real problem anymore, but of course, handling the data. If you want to record 8 streams to your hard disk, maybe this won't work at all. And also what gives your internet connection. So that are the limits you are facing.
Yeah. So I think we saw, like, after I did 4 or 5 streams, the next stream would default to a software encoder, which would increase the CPU load. On my MacBook Pro, actually, I had more than 4. I had 5, but then I couldn't test anymore because my bandwidth at my internet connection was maxed out, so I wasn't able to see if I can add still more streams in hardware before it defaults back to software. All right, so yeah, that's a good improvement. Not related to mimoLive 4, though. Well, if you have multiple outputs, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
now we can actually use multiple streams. That's the new one, the new feature.
So we've gotten a very specific question by Alternative Plan. There seems to be a bit of lag when using the iDevices as camera sources with NDI. Is this the result of a slow network? Should I expect to be able to use them in sports? So NDI, anything that is using a wireless connection over network is not going to be able to guarantee certain maximum latency. You will have different latencies from different devices and all kinds of issues. You should be able to use 1 or 2 cameras, or 2 cameras, or 2 or 3 cameras in an NDI network at a sports event. But you also need to take into consideration that you have a lot of radio interference when you do something like that outside in a stadium or in an environment where there's lots of people with cell phones. And you will just have a lot of radio interference, which means that basically you won't get a reliable connection. So I would recommend to use NDI cameras over network cables. One of the nice things with the NDI and the PTZ Optics NDI cameras and the NewTek NDI cameras is that they run power over Ethernet. So you actually just have to have one cable run to the camera that has everything: power, the video signal, the controls, everything is just one cable. So that makes it much more manageable to have those cameras. It's much easier, much faster to set up, and it's really well worth the extra money investment. Of course, if you already have the iDevices, then it's a huge additional investment, but it's going to be much better quality. All right, so more questions from Facebook.
Here we go.
Can we use Reporter app on iOS and send the stream to mimoLive different?
To 4 mimoLives? Or
can we? So do you mean you want to stream to 4 mimoLive? Or to mimoLive 4? No, I think he means that you want to stream to 4 different mimoLive at the same time. This is not possible with the Reporter app. It's possible with the NDI app, but because NDI does multicasting, which means I have one source on the network and it actually sends out the video, and multiple receivers can receive the video at the same time, and the data is only on the network once, which is nice because it keeps the network load low. So with the cameras here we can actually grab them from different machines and use the same camera for 2 or 3 different mimoLives. This is also possible with the NDI app on the iPhone, and that's not something we do. That's something NewTek. You can download the NewTek NDI app to do that, or there's one other vendor. What's their name again? Forgot the name.
Sienna.
Sienna. that have an NDI app on the iPhone, and that allows you to stream multicasting and you can watch them. But you have to be on the same network, which makes it a little bit different from how you could use the Reporter app, because the Reporter app you could send someone out into the backyard and use the LTE connection from there to come back to your studio. You can't do that with NDI yet. All right, next question. Mark Pendleton, thanks. Do I download the PTZ Twitter layer then, or is it in the version 4 software? You the extra layers are actually downloadable from our website. We are not including all the extra layers because that would increase the download size for the app significantly, but we want to have the ones you pay for in the app so we can regularly update them easily without having to tell you where to go and download them. The free and the experimental apps, the experimental layers, you can download the latest version whenever you need it, but since we don't charge you for that, I think it's reasonable that you need to figure out which version you want or need yourself. So the Twitter layer, just go to the mimo.live/by/layers page and just download them. Or click on the Get More Layers inside mimoLive.
Right.
More Facebook. More Facebook. Oh, wow, Ben Todman. What is the best way to get 4 or more HD cameras into MIMO? I use both a MacBook Pro and a Mac Pro bin, neither with a card slot for a decklink card. So all right. So if you want to do SDI input into your Mac, currently the best way is to get a PCIe external enclosure with Thunderbolt 3. There's 2 vendors I know of. One is Sonnet Technologies and one is Kara, whatever. This is some strange name. They make enclosures that you can plug in the decklink cards and then attach the cards to the Mac. And as a matter of fact, here in the studio, we use a decklink Quad 2 card, which has 8 SDI HD inputs, and we've connected them to an iMac Pro, and we can easily use 8 HD SDI inputs, and it's great quality, great performance, and very, very useful to do that. So that's the recommended way if you don't want to go NDI. All right, so I have 2 more questions from YouTube. Does mimoLive 4 offer replay? I think we answered that. Not yet, but we're working on that. We'll have something maybe, a couple of months after NAB, a new package for sports scoring, which includes instant replay. I work with ATEM Studio Television. Can I manage the cameras with mimoLive? How does it work? All right, so this is quite a complicated question because mimoLive doesn't offer a way to control the camera. It offers a way to control the ATEM switcher. So right. Do you want to give a quick overview on how that works?
Sure. It's an additional, it's an add-on, the ATEM controller layer. You enter the IP address of your ATEM switcher, and then you're able to control that ATEM switcher to switch between its inputs. And you grab the output of the ATEM switcher with Blackmagic capture card or whatever, and bring the final already switched signal to mimoLive, and then you have just the overlays, the graphical overlays, and what have you, and can stream out the result. So the computer only has one video input, and all the hard work of switching is done by the ATM switcher. So you can offload a lot of CPU processing power into the ATM switcher.
Okay. Okay. Same question. Yeah, because ATM Studio Television is weak regarding graphics, chroma keys, commercials, scoreboards, countdown clocks, etc. for sports. Yes, so mimoLive works great with the ATM switchers. Yeah, there's also you can also feed out the graphic signal from mimoLive to an ATM switcher with key and fill separately. You need to have a Blackmagic device that has two HD video out channels that are synchronized so that you get the key and the fill for transparency at the same time. And then you can play out 4K graphics to your switcher and use mimoLive just as a graphics engine for the ATM switcher. So if you want to get more information about how to use the ATM switcher with mimoLive, go to the mimoLive website. There's at the bottom there's a use case section, and one of the use cases is graphics engine. And there's a flyer that explains how to use mimoLive with the ATM switchers and what different things you have, possibilities you have. When recording to disk, the resulting file size is quite large. Is there a way to record to a codec that doesn't result in such a large file? All right, so yes, you can record to H.264 directly. However, that is a compressed video format, so if you want to do some editing afterwards, or if you upload it to YouTube or Facebook, it gets re-encoded, and that means that you lose quality. One of the two things you have to keep in mind is that we recommend to record in ProRes 422, which means that that is a codec that has a good balance between performance and compression, and it takes a lot of space, but it's also the native format for Final Cut. So it's easy to import in Final Cut and to edit afterwards if you want to remove empty like my stuttering now or something like that, or at the end or the beginning of the stream or the recording where maybe something happened you don't want to have in the recording. So we decided to do that for that reason. The other reason is that before 10.13, if you were streaming out with H.264, which is the only choice for streaming out, and you wanted to record the disk into H.264, macOS would give you a software encoder for H.264 recording to disk, which would bog down your CPU, and that is not a good thing. And so we decided to default to ProRes instead. Now with 10.13, of course, you feel free to add H.264. We can quickly switch to Achim's computer. Tobias, if you can switch to the computer, please, then we can show you where Achim can set the codec.
So the codec is set up in the certain file recording, and you need to open up the advanced section here, and below there you can switch the video format and also the audio format. However, those are the current formats that are supported, and you can easily switch to H.264.
Yes.
Here we go, and that's it.
All right. So one other thing is that you can also record to ProRes 444. 4444. 4444.
4 fours.
4 fours. ProRes 4444, which means that it also records the alpha channel. So that gives you a transparent video. So if you don't do anything in the background, you actually can use all the graphics and quickly render and record a video with transparency that you can use then in Adobe Premiere or in Final Cut to overlay over your recording for editing, which is a nice add-on feature. If you have a mimoLive license, then that gives you a quick and easy way to do lower thirds and other graphics. All right.
So here we have another question from
Is
the Facebook.
HEVC streaming coming anytime soon? So HEVC streaming. Do you know, Ben, let us know if you know any streaming service that actually supports HEVC ingest, then we'll support it. Right now, I don't know of any platform, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, anything that allows for HEVC ingest. As soon as that changes, we just have to turn on the switch. HEVC encoding actually is done, all the video encoding is done by macOS. Apple added an HEVC encoder to macOS 10.13, so we already able to use it. We can use it when recording to disk. We haven't done any extensive testing as to the performance of this though. I would assume that maybe it takes a little more resources. Not sure how many more resources those are for the CPU and how many more for the GPU, but it's certainly something that is possible. However, and it's useful to point for an OB.
Didn't understand this question.
Over 4G. Yes, I think what he means is that it's you could use it to stream over 4G from one system to the other. If you use mimoLive Reporter to stream from your iPhone or from any desktop or laptop computer with Chrome browser or an Android device with the Chrome browser on it to mimoLive over MIMO call, we use a codec called VP8 by Google, and that is quite good at compressing video over slow connections. So we had some fun sending Achim with an iPhone through Leoben and then stream back to the studio, and that works quite well. So yeah, check that out if you can, see if it works for you. Might be an alternative to HEVC. So I don't see any more questions in YouTube. Do we have more questions in Facebook? Tobias. More questions. I missed the start of the screen. Have you covered your progress for the NewTek NDI PTZ control layer with the functionality as the PTZ optics control layer? Yes, we have, and we will have it at the NAB. We can take that opportunity to remind you that we will be at NAB, and Tobias just at the NAB lower third again here. So at NAB, we're going to be at the NDI booth, at the NDI pavilion, which is a booth next to the NewTek booth where NewTek and the NDI partners show off NDI solutions. And one of the things we want to show off there is the ability to control NDI PTZ cameras from the multi-view actually. So if you assign an NDI PTZ source to the multi-view, you can use controls inside the multi-view window to actually control the PTZ camera, which is a nice feature.
So another question by Carlos.
Can YouTube and Facebook show comments at the same time? I think we had the question already. Yeah. We should be. somehow it doesn't work today. We'll have to investigate why that is. Maybe because we just compiled a new version like 5 minutes before we started the stream, and we're running on a prototype development release of mimoLive. and maybe we broke something. So,
however, maybe you want to again explain what's the problem with Facebook streaming to other.
Okay, so the problem with Facebook is that Facebook has guidelines that actually say you can only use the Facebook API to stream to Facebook if you don't stream to any other service at the same time, except for your own page, brand page. So if you have a streaming page inside your brand page, then you can stream to that. And the consequence is that as a vendor, we can't ship a version of mimoLive that allows you to stream to Facebook over the API and to other streaming services. So if you want to do that, you will get an error message and with a link to a tech article that explains the issue more detail. All right, do we have, what is the recommended configuration for optimal use of mimoLive? Oh, wow. All right, so we recommend that you get the most expensive computer you can afford with the most inputs. Now, the problem is with this is that it's greatly depending on what you want to do. So, for example, we have this guy in Oklahoma City who live streams his cameras pointing at owls hatching 24/7, and he uses a Mac Mini. For his purposes, that's enough. Here in the studio, we have an iMac Pro, and we have one person here at the studio who's maxing out the iMac Pro. So it depends greatly on what you want to do. For example, we can use, we have used the MacBook Pros. This is the late 2017 model, I think, 2017. So this is the first generation of the MacBook Pros with the touch bar. We've used those with 3 cameras and recording presentations, getting another feed from the presenter Mac with the screen grab from the computer, and 3 cameras. We've done that on the road. The only important thing is to cool it so that it doesn't run too hot, but it works with the Blackmagic mini recorders to grab the video, or NDI, or we have this external box with an NDI with an SDI Blackmagic Duo 2 and a Quad 2 card in it, and it attaches to the MacBook Pro through Thunderbolt, and that works fine with 3 cameras, no problem. And it really depends on what you want to do. It's a very difficult question to answer. And
of course, the real limitation is the video you're putting into the computer. What we are going to do with the video in the computer is not so important, but how big is the resolution of your video feed you're getting in, what frame rate do you have, and how many cameras you connect to your machine. That's important things to take in account.
So to ask again, just for clarification, if I'm not interested in controlling PTC through Twitter, can I still use the Twitter PTC controller in order to control my PTC optics camera with keystrokes? You wouldn't want to use the PTC Twitter controller to do that. You just use the normal PTC controller.
There's a certain layer already shipped with mimoLive that controls your PTC camera.
We can show you that on the screen. It should be installed here. So if you show Achim's computer, just go here, find PTC optics, and there's the controller layer. And you just use that, and it allows you to, you explain that.
Yeah, you can store and recall certain positions, and once the camera and the layer is connected via the IP address, then you even would be able to control pan and zoom and tilt by clicking on the preview.
Yes.
Right here.
So that is supported also for access cameras, PTZ cameras, and we will have support for NDI PTZ cameras by NewTek and by PTZ Optics by the NIB, just to reiterate. All right, more questions. I would like to see how other people are using mimoLive. Do you have more use cases or a place where users can post their shows so we can learn from them and exchange ideas? Yes, we do encourage our users to go to our forums and post whatever they want there, except for spam. And if you go to the mimoLive webpage, there is actually a use case section where I will be featuring, or still I am featuring, a lot of interesting use cases. Mostly the problem is that in order to feature them on our website, they have to be on YouTube. We're working on being able to embed Facebook videos, but that's a little bit different and difficult. But if people send us material that's on YouTube, we will do a story about it, and it's on the mimoLive webpage, mimo.live/use cases, I think, exactly. And there's a couple of use cases there. And if you have something, please feel free to send it to us, either to support. We have a submission form somewhere on the webpage. I don't exactly recall where, or just go to the forum in Boinx Connect and post it there, and I will certainly make sure that it shows up in the use case page. Right. Okay. So I have some questions on YouTube. Is there a way, Alternative Planner asks again, is there a way to input data from a sports scoreboard graphically, but not by using a camera pointed at it? So, if your sports scoring system is able to output that, we can certainly input that. Pointing a camera at the scoreboard is an easy way to do it, and we have an interesting filter actually in mimoLive. Maybe can we show that? No, we can show that because
we can try.
We can try to show it.
So you want to use the
DSQ.
The DSQ filter here.
And yeah.
Once you set it up, I need to have some video feed here. So what you get is a square where you can point to the edges of your scoreboard, which probably is not at the right perspective. And then it will be skewed to the correct proportion, and now you can use it in a pip layer, for example, picture-in-picture, so that the score looks like that you captured it right from the front facing. Coming back to the question, one big advantage of mimoLive is its ability to be customized in a great way. Each layer can be customized, and certainly we can create different input sources to capture or to get all kinds of data. Sports scoring is for sure something that's very interesting for us, and so we're looking into it, what we can do here.
All right. Sports score graphically. So maybe what you're referring to is that you can create the scoring inside mimoLive, and that's something we're working on, and the package is going to be available maybe by the middle of year. We're going to get to work on it after the NAB. Achim has already done a lot of work, and Tobias is actually working on the demos and some demo documents for it. So we're quite far along already. So it's going to be there sometimes. So DVE store, using an ATM in conjunction with mimoLive is a great way to get many camera feeds into a modestly powered Mac. Yes, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, of course, if you have a small Mac and you want to have multiple cameras, one way to do it is to offload the actual video input to one ATEM switcher, and I think we mentioned that already. There's a document on our webpage detailing how to use an ATEM switcher with mimoLive, and Jason from DVE store has already has actually put up a quite nice tutorial video that you can check out and see how to set up this with the ATEM switcher with mimoLive. All right. Alternative plan, DSQ is fantastic. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for the kind words. The nurse doc. Thanks, DVE store. I used ATEM with mimoLive and the encoding could not keep up. Okay, we have to get back to you on this and see what the problem was. Yeah. So I have no more questions on YouTube for now. Do we have more Facebook questions? Karim. I have some chinless PTC camera, Chinese, I think. I have some Chinese PTC camera, same quality as the PTC optics, but the PTC optics layer does not work with these. Yes, that's because many of those PTC camera providers have their own proprietary control formats. We currently support Access and PTC optics, and we hope that NDI provides a good way to standardize this. There's also other standard protocols, Visca and others, but they are very cumbersome to implement, and so NDI is certainly one good way to rectify this problem, and we hope that a lot of vendors will jump on the PTC, the NDI bandwagon, and make it easier for us to talk to their cameras through a standardized protocol that is built for the network. Visca has been built for serial communication, and it's sort of stacked on top of IP, and it basically works like talking to a RS2, what is 244, RS2, R322, now what's the number? So a serial connection, and it's really, really painful. At least PTC Optics offers their own protocol that is reasonably easy to talk to over HTTP. And
so maybe if your products are also reachable by HTTP protocol, you may modify the PTC optics layer we have, because you can adopt the layers to your needs. This is also documented on our webpage in the document
if
section.
you are adventurous and technically talented, then you can do that. Okay. All right, more questions? No new questions? All right.
Great.
It's been an hour and a half almost. Thank you all for watching. If there are more questions, send them to us by email, either to sales@boinx.com or support@boinx.com, or if you go to the support forums, post your questions there. We will do our best to answer them. Just to reiterate, mimoLive 4 is now available to download from mimoLive/download. We've introduced you to the 4 most important features, which are the multi-output destinations, which allow you to set up multiple streaming destinations, and also multiple audio feeds, for example, to be able to support a moderator or a loudspeaker system in a studio where you want to the audience to be able to listen to the B-roll movies, or for the operator, separate audio feeds. We've shown you the multi-views. We have two independent multi-views, one inside the main document window and one that you can put on a separate screen to keep all your video sources in overview. We've shown you the new Facebook and YouTube comments moderation feature that allows you to moderate and comments and also display them in your stream while you're answering the questions in the feeds. And we've shown you a couple of extra nice stuff that you can download from our new extra layers page. And we are going to be at NAB if you want to talk to us and are at NAB. Once more, the information for NAB, the booth number is SL5516. It's in the South Hall, lower level, right next to the New Tech booth, the NDI Pavilion, where we will be showing our technology and our solutions in connection to New Tech's NDI technology, how that works, how you can use NDI to bring in a lot of interesting video sources into mimoLive, or use mimoLive as a graphics playout engine to your NDI universe. And we're looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you everybody for joining us. And well, we should do that more, huh? What do you think? Next week? No. We will stay tuned there. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube or Facebook page, like our Facebook page, if you want to know when we will do the next Q&A session. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the forums at NAB or by email. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.